NFC East, and good morning, Philadelphia. Today is Wednesday, aka Thanksgiving Eve, aka I'm in holiday mode, and I'm ready to get my 5-pack of chicken nuggets today, courtesy of one Ben Simmons Tone DeShields.
We were talking about this off air, right? First things first, good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. It's a Thanksgiving Eve. Super happy to be here with you guys as always. And we were talking about this off air, right? Who would have thought the Sixers would have been able to pull off a win last night against the Brooklyn Nets and all their stars, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons playing, and the Sixers had none of their stars, not one, not two, but they were missing their top three scorers. James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, and they managed to win that game by pure fundamental basketball. It was pretty cool to watch.
It makes you think, right? Maybe Doc Rivers is a good coach. I still see that, and I love Joel Embiid. This isn't a criticism of Joel Embiid at all, but people are probably going to take it as such. They move the ball so much better when he ain't on the court, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, he's like I never thought I'd say this about him, but he's kind of like a black hole. Like once the ball gets to him, it normally ends there, and it makes me believe that maybe Doc Rivers just doesn't know how to coach a big man, or doesn't know how to really execute an offense with a superstar big man like Joel Embiid. You would think you had that experience, but man, this is Good Morning NFC East, not Good Morning, Philadelphia 76ers. You guys, Turkey Day is among us. Got a lot of games coming up, but before we get into those, really quickly, I want to pick your brain about the Eagles-Packers game coming up. And this is a big game, believe it or not, for both sides. And the Packers are trying to save their season. The Eagles are trying to, continue to keep momentum and essentially solve their offensive struggles. Do you think this is a game where the Eagles bounce back offensively? Do you expect this game to be really close? What are your expectations from this upcoming matchup between the Packers and the Eagles, Jeff?
Well, I thought the Packers won last Thursday night. I think this game would be a lot bigger for Green Bay. I mean, they are essentially fighting for their playoff lives if they're not over already. I mean, if you think about it, Washington is the 8th seed, and they're 6-5. Green Bay is what? They haven't had their bye yet, so they're 4-7. They're 2 out right now with 6 to play. They lose, they're done. The Eagles are wearing black on Sunday, all black, black helmets, black everything. They could literally be preparing for the Packers' funeral. It might be the case on Sunday. And if Green Bay does not run the ball efficiently, I'm talking about like actually committing to the run and kind of doing what Washington and Indy tried to do to slow the Eagles' offense down, they don't have a shot. I mean, Christian Watson's a really good player. I think we're seeing that. I think Aaron Rodgers knew that from week 1 when he threw that deep pass to him. He was wide open. He dropped it, but he wanted to go back to him. It's for some reason Green Bay never did. And now he's had 5 touchdown catches in his last 2 games. If they don't run the ball efficiently, get the ball to their one offensive playmaker, not named Aaron Rodgers and Christian Watson, and score in the red zone, which they've had some issues doing this year, they're going to get blown out of the building.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I was looking at the numbers for their running backs, and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, Dillon is averaging 4 yards a carry. Aaron Jones is averaging just over 5 yards a carry on 143 touches. So those guys are definitely able to move the ball on the ground. But at times, do they seem always committed to it? I feel like they're beginning to transition into this run first, pass second team. And, Aaron Rodgers hasn't had his best season, but it seems like they're starting to find some level of a rhythm. And I don't know, is it possible they can strike gold in Philadelphia? What are the odds of the Philadelphia Eagles getting upset in their own building by Aaron Rodgers? And how big of a win could this be for Jalen Hurts if he gets it done?
I mean, it's always possible, right? I mean, no one thought Washington was going to beat Philadelphia at home, and they did in primetime.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur aren't on the same page, even though they won a lot of games together already. But this year specifically, they don't have that Devonta Adams type receiver that can change a game. They don't. I think the most disappointing thing to me with the Green Bay Packers this year is their defense just has not been efficient. They have significantly missed Zadarius Smith and dropped the ball on trying to re-sign him, trying to find his replacement. Preston Smith's been okay, but a lot of their guys have been disappointing this year. Like, I think they thought guys like Quay Walker would make up for Sedarius, and Walker's been fine, but it's not what they've expected. It's just a weird team this year, Tone. They're a weird football team. I feel like they can recover, but not in 2022. It just feels like there's too much going on. There's too much in-house turmoil, from Aaron Rodgers signing the big contract to trading Devonta Adams to the disagreements with Matt LaFleur to every other nook and cranny that's been on that roster and on that team. I mean, another player they significantly missed that left, Chandon Sullivan, believe it or not, former Eagles cornerback Chandon Sullivan. He's thriving in Minnesota. He was good in Green Bay. Rasul Douglas isn't having the year he had last year. He's still a solid player, but
look, Jeff. Like really quickly, Aaron Rodgers is not the exception, and what I mean by that is, you think about players or quarterbacks that have lost their top guy. Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. Yes, he still has Travis Kelce, but he lost a vital cog to that offense. Tannehill, the Titans lost A.J. Brown, right? There are teams who are making adjustments. They're reinventing how they have to do things because, for one, the quarterbacks are bought in. They're bought in, and you can make an argument if Aaron Rodgers would have changed his approach to these young guys, they would be playing significantly better, especially around this time of the year. And I knew this was going to happen. The moment Devontae Adams got traded, I immediately said to myself, no one's going to want to say this, but Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are about to have an extreme fall off. No one wanted to jump off a cliff and say that, though. And I was having so many debates with people, behind the scenes. And I'm just like, look, this is not going to be as simple as you guys think it is. Devontae Adams accounted for well over 150 targets. Where are those targets going to be distributed? So, look, man, he's not like we shouldn't be. The Packers shouldn't experience this type of drop off. I understand that they lost Devontae Adams, but damn, you're still Aaron Rodgers. You have the ability to elevate guys, and now it's kind of too little, too late.
This is my issue with Green Bay, and keep in mind, I'm keeping tabs at Kansas City as well when they're losing their star. They replaced him. They got Juju Smith-Schuster.
Right. A bargain guy.
Yeah. They got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who hasn't been good for them, but he's still a player. Like, he's still a threat, right? You got deeper at receiver. You drafted Sky Moore. You traded for Kadarius Toney. You still had Travis Kelce. You had Mecole Hardman in the building. The Chiefs, and Andy Reid's a really good coach, too. The Chiefs had a plan.
That's another thing, too. Matt LaFleur. I think he's I've always thought he was fool's gold.
Yeah. The Chiefs, I'm sorry, the Packers, they just never replaced them. They're like, okay, we're going to draft Christian Watson, and who I liked a lot coming out of North Dakota State. I said, okay, this is a good pick for them. Where they got him, I think it'll be fine. But you never got any veterans. You got Romeo Doubs, another rookie, another guy Aaron Rodgers can pick on. But your veterans were Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, who barely plays because he's hurt all the time. You didn't get a good veteran receiver. And you never really did. I think the guy they kind of wanted was Odell, but Odell was hurt. And I think Odell had interest in going there last year, but decided, you know what, I'll go to Hollywood. It's warmer there. It's nicer there. I don't get why the Green Bay Packers just don't sign free agents. They signed Reggie White, and that was it.
Makes you think players don't want to play there, right?
Yeah, like Reggie White and Charles Woodson are their two biggest free agents ever. And they were really good. When they sign free agents, they hit them. They hit on them big time. I just think they thought the NFC North sucked, and they were just going to roll through it. I thought they were going to have a drop-off, but I thought it was going to be like 10-7. Not this. Not 4-7 through 11 games.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you get what you ask for. You get what you put into something. And the Packers have never really put in the best effort to make sure their offense could be as dominant as it possibly could.
Here's a question,
But
Tony.
yeah, go ahead.
Who has a brighter future? The Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers?
This is a good question. A brighter future?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with the Detroit Lions. The Packers have a quarterback who, by default, is declining, right? He's getting older. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to decline. So they have a quarterback who's aging. They have an extremely shaky wide receiver core. They have a good running back room, but who knows how long they'll keep that together. Running backs are expendable these days. Offensive line is shaky.
One of them's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, see, defense is suspect right now. But when you think about the Lions, they have promise damn near all over the field, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think Jameson Williams just got activated.
Yep.
They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's coming alive and who's a threat in my opinion. I think he's a solid B+ wide receiver, growing into an A-. And then they have DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams as well. DeAndre Swift has to stay healthy, of course, but and let's be honest, I think the Aiden Hutchinson on defense, they have talent. You know what I mean? The biggest question, in my opinion, is their coaching.
But you gotta admit, what he's taken over was a literal hellhole. And
that's true. That's true.
Very worse, they're competitive. But now you're starting to see the wins pile up. You can tell they play for that guy.
They respond to him. You're right.
Yeah, when I was watching Hard Knocks, I'm like, you know what? Everybody thinks Dan Campbell's crazy, but he's kind of a coach I play for because he's a no-nonsense guy. He's going to tell it like it is, and he's building a culture there, and they're bought in. And they're going to be interesting to watch tomorrow on Thanksgiving. I kind of want to talk about the Thanksgiving Day games a bit here.
Yeah, for sure. We got some time, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Detroit and Buffalo, I have bold predictions coming out for CBS Sports. I think this is going to be like a 30-30 game. I think Detroit is going to treat this game like it's the Super Bowl. Play that underdog role. They're going to have their fans in there. They're an exciting team now, even though they're not good, but they're exciting. I think that's going to be a really good appetizer for what's coming on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree. I actually wish the Giants and the Cowboys were flipped with Patriots and the Vikings. I believe they thought that matchup would be a little bit more exciting at this time of year, but
that game's always the 4:00 game, no matter what. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually agree with you. That Buffalo Detroit game is going to be closer than what they think. And man, Buffalo back to Detroit, because then their game get moved to Detroit because of the blizzard.
Yeah, they played in Detroit 2 times in 5 days, and if I remember correctly, this is only like the second or third time ever this has happened where they played in the same stadium and they were the road team and the home team. The Saints did it with the year Katrina hit. They played the game. I think they played New York week 1 and week 2, but they were I'm trying to remember that situation. But it's only happened like 2 or 3 times in NFL history.
Okay, so 9 times out of 10, they didn't even go back to Buffalo. They just stayed out there.
I think they stayed out there. I don't think they went back.
Yeah, it would definitely make sense. But yeah,
it's a short week too.
But yeah, this Thanksgiving slate is going to be interesting. So yeah, you gave your thoughts on that Buffalo Detroit one. What about that Cowboys Giants game? And we also have our guy Kevin Bullard up behind the scenes in the virtual green room. I'm waiting to come up, so we're going to have him coming up after the break. But really quickly, I want to get your thoughts on those final 2 games: Giants versus Cowboys and Patriots versus Vikings.
Kevin and I are going to talk about this a lot, but
for sure,
for the Giants to have a chance in this game, you got to give the ball 26. You just got to keep giving the ball to 26 against that run defense, and because I'll tell you what, I really don't know who's going to line up for the Giants at right tackle on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be Evan Neal because he's banged up. What's the guy's name? Trey Andrews. He's banged up. Man, I'll tell you what, Tone. You just got to get the ball to Saquon Barkley. You got to keep Dallas's defense on the field, keep that offense off the field. It was a bloodbath week 1 in prime time. I don't know if it's going to be like that again because Dallas always has this tendency to play really well one game, and then the next game you're just like, what the heck happened? Like, this team is way too talented, way too good to not play well each and every week, but it's a week-to-week league. And sometimes I think Dallas buys into their owner's hype a little bit, even though his hype is justified this time.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry has, like you said, Jerry has a habit of putting the cart before the horse. And I'm sorry, I can't buy any Cowboys hype unless they get to a national championship game. You know what I mean? It's like they've teased their fans, they've teased the national, the national media, they teased us for so long as far as they can go, in the playoffs, and they just always tend to drop the ball. And I always think about Stephen A. Smith's famous line, "What can go wrong will go wrong," right?
Accident waiting to happen, I think he calls it.
Yeah, an accident waiting to happen, right? So, I mean, look, the Cowboys, they're a good team. I'm not gonna take that from them at all, but they're one of those teams that you just have to take with a grain of salt. Just like you said, the Giants, I think Saquon Barkley needs to have like 50 carries.
I said he's going to run for 150 yards. That was my bold prediction. I never said how many carries he was going to have to get 150 yards. I love when people say, "Oh, you said this is a bold prediction." I'm like, it's a bold prediction for a reason. It's supposed to be a little outlandish, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's called operative word, bold, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Like, I do it for fun. I had Saquon Barkley rush for 150 yards. I had Micah Parsons getting multiple sacks, which, again, that's hard to do. I know it's not for Micah Parsons, but it is hard to do.
Yeah. I am nervous about the offensive line for the Giants, like you said.
I want to bring this up to you. Did you see what Micah Parsons tweeted last night about the MVP?
No, I didn't. No.
He goes, "Why is this award always quarterback driven?" Because they put up.
Oh my God, that's the $1 million question of the century. Like we all ask that question, but
I get his point though. Like, if you're Micah Parsons, you're having like this transition, this generational year. You have no shot at MVP. None. Him and Mac Juden. They just don't have a shot. No one's gonna vote.
I mean, look, it's a passing league. It's a quarterback league. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but look, the quarterbacks impact the game more than anybody else. So
don't you think Tyreek Hill deserves like some love here?
Now he deserves the consideration. He literally turned that offense on its head. I know a lot of people want to say Mike McDaniels versus Brian Flores. Brian Flores was a defensive guy, so you can't expect but so much creatively on offense. But still, I think Mike McDaniel deserves some Coach of the Year considerations as well. But also, Tyreek Hill just did his thing, man. But look, that's what we're going to do, Jeff. Let's take our break, and then we're going to get our guy Kevin Boilard up in here. I want to hear his perspective on the Giants on Turkey Day. It's going to be really exciting. You guys are locked in on Good Morning NFC East. He's Jeff Kerr. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. Keep it locked, you guys.